Market distribution of income is our topic, and we have an equilibrium condition. That equilibrium condition is each worker is paid the value of his or her marginal contribution, how much he or she adds to the economy's production of goods and services. Everybody have it now? They're still. Looks like a few of you are still writing. I'll wait. All right. Determinants of equilibrium wages. One determinant. People are paid more for hard jobs than easy jobs. Somebody give me an example of a hard job. What would you like compare a hard job to an easy job? What? Okay, a doctor. Why is it hard to be a doctor? It takes a lot of schooling. Yes. What else?
Well, I guess if you think of difficulty as like the amount of manual labor, you could go with like factory workers who have to lift a lot of weight, or coal miners.
Yeah, the coal miners is a great example. That's a hard job. And they have to walk in these mines bent over all day long, and a lot of coal miners actually die from working in the coal mines from black lung disease. But because they are paid a lot, because it's a hard job, generation after generation, they go back to the mines because they can earn a good living. So that's a great example. Doctors, yes, they have to do a lot of studying, and doctors work long hours too. Those are good examples. A doctor versus maybe like somebody with a similar education level, a college professor. You might consider a college professor an easy job, an enjoyable job. You get to work with students. You get to research things that you're interested in. You maybe if you enjoy teaching, it's more of a pleasurable or easy type job. And college professors don't make as much as doctors and lawyers, right? You could go talk about like as far as a coal miner. A coal miner earns more than somebody that works at the counter at McDonald's, right? Okay. So examples: hard jobs, coal miners, night shift at a factory versus day shift, easy, fun, professor versus doctor or lawyer. All right, then here's a term related to this. Compensating differential. This term is a difference in wages that arises to offset the non-monetary characteristics of different jobs. Compensating differential. People who work night shift may make more than people who do the same job during the day shift. And the difference in what they make is the compensating differential. Right? Difference in what they make is their compensating differential. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. You can get the lecture off the website. Canvas. All right, everybody have it? Raise your hand if you're still writing. All right. A second factor in the difference in incomes: human capital. Human capital is accumulation of investments in people, such as education and on-the-job training. Typically, the more education you get, the higher a salary you can earn. Or, if you are trained, a lot of skilled jobs, you go through an apprenticeship, right? And you become I can't remember the term they use, master carpenter or something like that, where you're certified, you have that skill, right? you're going to make more than somebody's than there's just a carpenter's helper. So training or education, it can increase your human capital. Firms pay more for highly educated workers because they have higher marginal products. Supposedly, the stuff you learn when you get a higher education will make you be able to contribute more to the company, have a higher marginal product. That's why people pay for the cost of an education. Financial reward. The financial reward. All right, a trend that is sort of happening globally. Foreign countries supply unskilled labor, making cheap goods that are imported to the U.S. All right, so foreign countries that don't have to pay their workers as much are making things. Although there was recently an article that came out that said the United States manufacturing in the United States is coming back, right? Like 2050, the United States will be manufacturing more goods than they import. But as general trend, the foreign countries supply the unskilled labor, and the U.S. supplies the skilled labor, like the salespeople, the managers, the decision makers, and some advanced goods like computers. You know, Apple's a big company. It's a big company that's primarily based in the United States. They make highly technical type devices. Those are still made. All of those are still made in the United States. Technology. Computers are replacing unskilled workers. A lot of assembly lines now are all automated. That's why a lot of people aren't able to get jobs now that used to work in the auto industry. They don't need the assembly line workers now because robots do it. So that's a change, and people are having to adopt. They're having to go to school instead. Because a job in an auto factory used to be a pretty good living. $70,000, good benefits, good health coverage, that type of thing. Those jobs aren't there anymore. Okay, a third thing that can cause differences in income: ability, effort, and chance. Somebody give me an example of ability enabling somebody to earn more money. Give me an example. Jeunesse.
Like physical ability, like the sport.
Okay, professional athletes. Yeah, gifted physical ability. Yes.
Musician.
Musicians. Yeah, gifted singers and performers. Yeah, those are good examples. Any others? I think those. Okay, so effort. What happens with people with effort? What can that do? Yes.
The harder you work, the more you can achieve, potentially.
Yes. Hopefully that's true. The harder you work, you'll get promoted. You'll make more money. Yes. So, yes, effort rewards you for being more productive. What about chance? Can anybody think of how chance could cause you to earn more money besides winning the lottery? Nathan.
Maybe buying stocks.
Okay. Investing, yes. That's not always somebody's job. Yes.
Like a job opening that's not very common that you apply for.
Yeah, that's more on the track of what I'm thinking of. Is chance is like you become educated or trained in a job that at the time when you do it, you just do it because you're interested in it. But all of a sudden that takes off, and it becomes a really vital industry. Again, you can take the example of Steve Jobs, or you can take the example of Apple. Those guys were programming nerds, right? And that when they were young, they just when computers were not that big a deal, right? And they had knowledge of that. And then when the demand for computers came, they had the know-how how to make them and what to produce. So they ended up becoming billionaires because they were educated in an area that became hot. Nursing was, it's not as much now, but for a while nursing was a really hot area. You could much get a job anywhere you wanted to if you were a nurse, because there was a big demand for that. All right, any comments, questions about that? All right. Now, signaling theory. Signaling theory is a counter to the human capital theory about education. The signaling theory says that highly educated people signal to employers that they have high ability. So rather than thinking of education as something that trains somebody to perform a specific job and that way add to their company, the signaling theory is more like, well, if this person had the persistence and the drive to get a master's degree or a law degree or some higher level education, then that signals to me as an employer that this is going to be a quality person to hire, and I'm going to hire them because I think they'll just be a good asset because they've signaled that they can reach this level of education or this level of training. And that's common, like when a lot of people in college, they get liberal arts degrees, okay? And you may get a liberal arts degree in history and end up being a sales manager or something. That's a lot of people that get that kind of degree have the signaling theory, right? So, a lot of people get liberal arts degrees end up getting MBAs and that type of thing. So they're not really trained in business, but because they signal that they can think and they can, achieve a high level of education, then they're worth hiring. Okay, some reasons for above equilibrium wages. Why would somebody earn above what the economy says they, if we did a graph and the graph said the wage should be this, why would they earn above that level? Some reasons. Minimum wage laws. We've talked about minimum wage before. What is minimum wage? On a graph, what do we refer to it as? Yeah, it's a floor, price floor. It's above equilibrium, right? Remember, the floor is higher than the ceiling. Floor is above. So it's a price floor, minimum wage laws. Unions. Unions can cause people to earn above equilibrium wages because the people bargain collectively for higher wages. All right, when it gets, extreme examples of the union are people go on strike if they don't feel like they're paid enough. And then, like in the case of a factory, if everybody goes on strike, they can't produce, right? So they have some leverage there when they bargain collectively. Efficiency wages. Firms pay higher wages to increase efficiency. So this is kind of like the cart before the horse. Rather than reward somebody with a higher salary for working hard, the company pays them more than really what the market demands, with the idea that if we pay them well, they'll be satisfied workers and they'll work hard for our company. There won't be a lot of turnover. They'll be motivated to work hard because they're getting good wages. Comments, questions about that? All right. Then the last topic with wages we have is discrimination. Okay, An economic definition of discrimination is the offering of different opportunities to similar individuals who differ only by race, ethnic group, sex, age, or other personal characteristics. Who's been talking about this? What's that? Who? I can't hear you.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders, yeah. And Hillary Clinton, right? The Democratic candidates are saying higher wages for women, right? They don't think that women are paid equal to what men are paid. So they are saying there's discrimination in the workplace, and that they want to pass laws that make sure that women are paid, or maybe ethnicities, different ethnicities earn, typically the quote white man earns the most at jobs with an equal level of education. They want to make sure everybody's paid on an even playing field. Discrimination by employers. The thing about this, and I like this conclusion, is it exists, but the businesses who care more about making money replace those people who discriminate. In other words, they don't allow discrimination in their company. The best workers, no matter what sex, race, creed, religion, whatever, they are going to be rewarded and rise to the top or get higher wages based on their performance, not based on these other factors. Okay, so and that the best companies do that. All right. Any comments, questions on the lecture? Okay. All right.